Good morning, children. Now, let's read the last part of the chapter, and after that, you find out the question answers, and then I'll give you the answers. How did you get here, child? Whose baby are you? The man asked as he steered clear of the mass. Now, when that person picked him up and he took him away from the crowd, he asked this child because the child was too small and he was crying. So he asked him, "How have you come here? Whose child are you?" The child wept more bitterly than ever now and only cried, "I want my mother, I want my father." Now, the child cried even more now, and he kept on repeating only one thing, that he wanted his parents. The man tried to soothe him by taking him to the roundabout. "Will you have a ride on the horse?" he gently asked as he approached the ring. Now, in order to quieten this boy, the man took him to the roundabout and offered him to take a ride on the horse. The child's throat tore into 1,000 shrill sobs, and he only shouted, "I want my mother, I want my father." Soothing is relaxing. But the child only screamed and wept loudly and said that I want my parents. The man headed towards the place where the snake charmer still played on the flute to the swaying cobra. Now, the man took him to all those places which attracted him a little while. So he took him to the snake charmer who was still playing his flute. "Listen to that nice music, child," he requested. He requested the child to listen to that nice music. But the child shut his ears with his fingers and shouted his double-pitched strain, "I want my mother, I want my father." But what did the child do? He thrust his fingers into his ears and cried even more loudly and said that I want my father, I want my mother. The man took him near the balloons, thinking the bright colors of the balloons would distract the child's attention and quieten him. "Would you like a rainbow-colored balloon?" he persuasively asked. Now, the man took him to the balloon seller, and he was sure that the child would be attracted towards the different colored balloons. And he asked the child that if he wanted that balloon. The child turned his eyes from the flying balloons and just sobbed, "I want my mother, I want my father." He did not even look at the balloons. He just said, "I want my parents." Double pitch strain is to use a lot of force. The man, still trying to make the child happy, bore him to the gate where the flower seller sat. "Look, can you smell those nice flowers, child? Would you like a garland to put around your neck?" Now, the man was making every effort to make the child happy, and he took him to the flower seller. And he asked the child if he wanted a garland for himself. The child turned his nose away from the basket and retreated his sob. "I want my mother, I want my father." Retreated is repeated. Now, he just moved his face away from that flower basket, and all he repeated was, "I want my mother, I want my father." Thinking to humor his disconsolate charge by a gift of sweets, the man took him to the counter of the sweet shop. Disconsolate is a very happy and unable to be comforted, because the child was crying. He did not want anything. He kept on repeating that I want my mother, I want my father. So thinking that the child might be attracted towards the sweet, he might stop crying, the man took him to the counter of the sweet shop. "What sweets would you like, child?" he asked. The child turned his face from the sweet shop and only sobbed, "I want my mother, I want my father." He did not even care to look at the sweets. All he said was that I want my parents. Now, that's all for your chapter. We have completed our chapter. Read the text thoroughly and try to find out the question answers of questions given at the end of the text. And in the next lecture, I would be giving you the question answers. Thank you.